Hey everyone, I thought I'd talk a little bit today about
Here we've got, you can see the different sectors of Berlin and
The following is a conversation with Joe Rogan that we recorded.
There's a warehouse in France, right on the Swiss border, where the most expensive material
The Joe Rogan Experience.
All right, Sagar, what's on your radar?
Well, I know there
The drama began shortly after the Frederick Police Department.
Quantum computers.
Okay, so the basic idea of quantum computers, the promise of quantum computers is...
What's the fastest way from point A to point B?
Introducing.
You're live.
We're rolling?
Yeah,
Okay. I still can't see anything.
it's okay.
Okay.
You're live.
We're rolling?
Yeah,
Okay. I still can't see anything.
it's okay.
There's a warehouse in France, right on the Swiss border, where the most expensive material
No, really, I think I could dunk on you.
But I bet I love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes more than you.
Come on, buddy, my picture's on the box.
It's the truth, Tony.
Tiebreaker. Who's got the deeper voice? They're
great.
I win.
I win.
Oh, you're cute when you're wrong.
You're live.
We're rolling?
Yeah,
Okay.
The U.S. and the Allies, I think, were unique.
Hey everyone, I thought I'd talk a little bit today about electrical impedance. This is a topic that confuses a lot of people, probably because it's taught sort of backwards in my opinion, where a lot of people
Okay. I still can't see anything.
it's okay.
Okay.
is quantum mechanics does things in power.
Okay. I still can't see anything.
It's okay.
Hi, everyone. Sorry. Okay, I see myself now, so there's a little bit of lag, and I hear myself too, so I think we're doing okay. Oh, you're responding. You may feel more comfortable doing so, and you may feel like it is something that they need to know as soon as the interview. So again, that's a really personal decision. I personally...
A lot of people, spend all of their time on the heavy-duty math involved and then kind of end with a practical circuit. But
And the Allies, I think, were uniquely vulnerable.
It's on your radar.
Well, I know there are 42 days until the election, but there is so much.
People on the block thought we were crazy because we were selling to white.
Few days until the election, but there is so much going on in our political world right now, and that the country is literally rotting from the inside out. But to be honest, there isn't.
So I've been a fan of your podcast for a long time. You don't often talk about it because you're...
This is me reclaiming my title for the world's largest and tallest elephant toothpaste experiment. And this is a totally different kind of reaction we discovered in all our experimentation called devil's toothpaste, which is insanely reactive and super dangerous. I'll explain why in a minute, but for now, here's a hint. Wow. And if you look closely in both shots, I'm not holding the trigger. This kid is. In fact, that kid was the whole reason we were there at all, because this was a culmination of 8 months of planning to throw him the most epic birthday party ever. And all of this started inadvertently from a single surprise phone call. What's up, Fletcher?
Oh my god.
What's going on, buddy? What? How are things, man?
They just got better?
This is Fletcher, and this is also Fletcher a year before this call, but unbeknownst to everyone at the time, also pictured here.
Wireless is about Andy Braddock, who is on his way to a New Year's party where he hopes.
Introducing Domino.
Ta-da!
Flight by... Hi, welcome back to my...
So when I say that, I have a lot of worried and concerned.
กราบสวัสดีกับผมนะครับผมซัสซิโอดีครับวันนี้ก็จะมา
Hey, what's up, guys? So they got the third jig of the new decade. You first need to collect.
Hey guys, is the egg hunt like 2018? No? Okay, bye.
venture to dispute.
So when I say that, I have a lot of worried.
This is the solfege video for this week, and we're going to do it together, and then you'll do it by yourself. Ready? I'm going to do the entire solfege scale. If your class only went to so, you can stop there, or you can learn the rest of it, or you can just do do to so. Ready? Here we go.
I'm talking about the autism brain and how Asperger's impact learning, including 3 issues that I think are super important to know about. All that is coming up. Hey guys, welcome back to the Aspie World. My name is Dan. I have autism, ADHD, OCD, and dyslexia, and I make weekly videos on this type of content. So if you're new around here and you've just stumbled across this video and you'd like to learn more, remember to hit that subscribe button down below by hitting that notification bell. Also, if you're watching over on Facebook, be sure to give this page a like and a follow to see more videos just like this. In this video, guys, I'm covering 3 of the most interesting things that you should know about. How autism impacts the learning capability of the learning brain part of a person with autism. Right, let's get on with it. Hey guys, welcome back. What's going on? Oh man, I'm just loving tea out of this mug. I haven't used this mug in ages. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's a Facebook Creators mug. I actually had this when I was in VidCon last year. Oh, memories. But this year, no VidCon because COVID just takes over everything, doesn't it? So, chin chin. As always, guys, I am drinking green tea, decaffeinated, because I don't do caffeine, but I do green tea. It's so good. So if you haven't already, please go and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I do videos on all of those every single week as well. So yeah, you should totally check me out on there. There's content and blogs and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, anyway, check out the stuff in the links in the description because there's loads of things there. If you have anything to add to this discussion, I always want to hear it. So pop me a comment down below. Let's get on with the video. Okay, so I wanted to do a video all about how the learning experience and how someone with I have a diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome, and I was thinking to myself, Dan, how does having Asperger's impact your ability to learn stuff, right? And this can transpose not just for education in the forms of academic education or preschool education. I'm on about it's learning everything. So I've kind of jotted down 3 of the things that I think make learning an issue for people on the autism spectrum and why this is apparent, because I feel like if we can understand and learn, and if you're new around here to this channel, what I'm trying to do is explain my vision and my story and how I see things from the world through an autistic person's point of view to hopefully help engage with you. If you're autistic, then have some camaraderie with you, and if you're not autistic but you're helping support somebody on the autism spectrum, have a relationship with you where you can learn from me, and that's pretty cool. So I wanted to do this video because I think that there's an important lesson to be learned, which is quite interesting because I'm talking about learning, in the fact that the learning style, learning types of a person with autism can really differ. It's an autism spectrum at the end of the day, and we have to kind of take that into consideration when we're dealing with people on the spectrum and figure out how we're able to support them better. So I've written out this list of 3 things which I'm going to explain about now and explain a little bit backstories between those and see how this can maybe help you. And yeah, that's super awesome. If you like this video and you really want to help me out, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to support me at all,
Snapchatters are young, diverse, and
strong-minded. They're comfortable expressing themselves. They like to share their points of view.
We know that the Earth is round. Everything we understand about this planet is grounded in the fundamental assumption that the Earth is round. But there was a time not all that long ago when we knew that the Earth was flat. That's called a paradigm shift. Our basic assumptions about the Earth changed because we had evidence showing that our previous assumptions were wrong. Just like the shape of the Earth, there are assumptions about autism too. Most people understand autism through medical assumptions. They understand autism as a medical condition, a disorder, even as a tragedy. In the medical paradigm, we're taught to believe that there's a correct way to develop neurologically, that there's a right way for our brains to work, the normal way, and that any other way of developing is wrong and needs to be treated and fixed. In 2011, when I was 25 years old, I was diagnosed with autism. And it wasn't a tragedy. It was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Finding out that I'm autistic, it brought me an overwhelming sense of relief. My whole life up to that point finally made sense. My paradigm about myself shifted. I wasn't a failed neurotypical person. I was a perfectly good autistic person. After my diagnosis, I did what most of us would probably do. I went to Dr. Google and I started researching autism. Eventually, I upgraded from Dr. Google. I did my PhD in autism, became a doctor myself, and today I'm proud to be one of a growing number of openly autistic people working in autism research. But in those early days, I wasn't running a complex research project. I was just trying to learn more about myself.
You need more layers, diagonal layers.
I gotta run, thanks.
Leave him alone, Dad. Oh, honey, you should use ice blocks instead of cubes.
No, Bud Light Seltzer goes on top.
Diagonal layers.
Did you pre-chill the Bud Light lemonades?
Need more ice.
In diagonal layers.
I mean, if you're gonna do it right.
I don't need my hands getting cold.
Why don't you try using a Plumsky?
I'm the Managing Director of the Manitoba Wildlife Federation, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about how to call the mallard duck. There's no doubt that mallards are the most popular duck in North America. Everybody loves the mallards. Greenheads are beautiful, there's no doubt, and they're great to eat. They're grain-fed, they feed in the fields, so they're a great duck. Everybody wants to know how to call them. And actually, they're pretty easy to call. There's basically two main calls that you want to make, the hail call and the feeding chuckle. Okay, so the hail call. The hail call is a call you're so like she's slaughterhouse.
Just to get up. Fuck that, I just bleeding. He said before my view.
Today, let's take a look at how to analyze speeches looking.
Mark them already. The
step is evaluate what you have found. So, the speaker uses this device to make the text more interesting. Next device. Advice that I can give you on that. Write in paragraphs. It shouldn't be count everything that's on the beach, but we're looking for mark something. Let me make a comparison. Say you're walking on a beach and you're trying to look for does not lie in the future, but affects U.S. citizens today. It can be really tricky, but today I'll make it easier for you and show you the 3 steps you can. To make that easier for you, I got devices. This can be really tricky, but today I'll make it easier for you and show you the 3 steps you can take to make this easier. First step will be, how do you find the right devices when reading the text? Second step is, how do you focus on the correct devices, because you cannot describe everything that's in the text. And my last step will be, how do you write a text about these devices and construct sensible paragraphs. Let's go. So let us take a look how to analyze a speech. First of all, obviously, you should read the text. But there's some advice I can give you even on just reading the text. First of all, when you
you go over.
Their interviews are up when they've asked them to take them down.
So styrofoam and plastics are not a beach's friend. You should try using a wire.
Hi everyone, I'm Tim Von Rieden, better known as Von Art Online, and today I'm going to show you how to do some gold leafing on a solid area, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. So the things that you'll want to buy are an adhesive, which this is what adheres the actual gold to your canvas or whatever you are working on, but essentially it's just a glue. And then you're going to want your gold leaf. So I buy the metal flakes. You can also get the sheets, but I find that I like the flakes texture better, and I kind of like the randomness that you can get with this over the sheets. So that's more of a personal preference. I think it's good to try both. So they're inexpensive, so I would experiment with both if you can. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and pour some of our adhesive. I actually don't use the spout. I pour it into a little bowl. You don't need terrible much. And if you ever want to stop the leaking from even like with cooking and food, you just turn it. You can see how now we don't have any glue on the outer rim. Put the spout back on, and I never try to set anything on the canvas itself, because you never know if there's something sticky underneath, especially since this is like my 7th one today, so you want to be very careful with your workstation. So what I like to go ahead and do is I use a paintbrush and I will just section off the area that I want with gold, but I have another video where I do a fox and I have a straight line that I need to create. So in that one I actually use tape, and it's a it's not a duct tape, that would ruin it. It's a painter tape, and that way it will create that nice crisp edge, and you don't have to worry about it getting outside of that edge. But with this one, I'm going to trust my kind of painting hand skill here, and I'm going to go right up to the edge myself. So now when you're doing this, you don't need a lot on the brush itself. The main thing you want to be concerned with is not adding too much, because you really only need a thin layer of glue, of this adhesive, for the gold flake to attach and adhere to. You'll learn very quickly how easy it is for this gold flake to just attach itself to anything that is sticky on your canvas. And this glue
I don't think it's that clear cut.
My name's David Marrow. Basically, I have a story to tell about my experiences. Used to be called Manderson, comes from the Scottish name Manderson, Scottish royalty. Goes back to Scottish royalty and Egyptian royalty. Used to live on the Orkney Islands near Caveness, where the heraldry of the Manderson family.
Good morning. My name is Lieutenant Dangle of the Reno Sheriff's Department. A statement has gone around on social media.
Normal. I also really enjoy diving into some of these darker events and crimes as well, more demonic. And if you think about it, this is that the people Alyssa wasn't all just, if there's any way, so they actually flew out to LA. And before her, obviously everybody wasn't all just individual. The San Diego great. Alyssa's post continued to tell employees she was exhibit wasn't all just Alyssa great. Hopefully made it to the hotel. This going to fly afterwards to check out other tours even after. But they did not find any traces of any sort of illegal drugs or alcohol in her system when they did the autopsy. They also used a rape kit and a fingernail kit on her body, and the results of those kits have never been released to this day, or even confirmed to have been tested. So they use these kits in order to test for these things, but they've never released the results, which makes me think that either they didn't really test them, or the results of these tests are being kept from the public because of some unknown reason. Or they just sit in line to be tested and they just haven't even been tested yet. Like there's a possibility that in LA, there's just a huge line for this and maybe they just haven't gotten to it yet. That's another possibility. But what we do know is that it appears that Elisa was not taking her prescribed medication. And this hotel had over 700 rooms in it. Because the goal of building it was to attract the most wealthy businessmen who are coming to LA to do business, as well as the social elite of Los Angeles. So we're talking movie stars and actors and actresses and singers and all of that kind of thing. So that's why they made the place so nice. And when the place opened in 1927, this period of time was known as the Roaring 20s. So everybody was living life well and enjoying themselves, and there was money to go around. And then obviously once the Great Depression hit in October of 1929, this all came crashing down. So LA was impacted greatly by this. And this once glamorous hotel that was hosting some of the most elite people in LA completely came crashing down, to the point where they had to lower their daily rates to pretty much anything people would be willing to pay in order to keep the rooms filled and the business afloat. And in addition, as time went on, especially going into the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, this area of LA became very, very rough, and it would become known as Skid Row. Now, the area known as Skid Row in LA has a lot of affordable housing in it, so the average income